The laptop hummed. A pale light illuminated Ethan's face. His fingers flew across the keyboard, chasing a deadline. The college dorm room was silent, save for the gentle whirring of the machine. Ethan shivered. The air had grown suddenly cold. He glanced at the closed window. It was a still, humid night. No breeze could enter. He rubbed his arms, trying to shake off the chill. A prickling sensation ran down his spine. He felt watched. Uneasy, he glanced around the room, his eyes scanning the shadows. Silence. Ethan tried to focus on his work. The words on the screen swam before his eyes. He was too on edge. Then he heard it. A faint whisper, barely audible. It seemed to slither from the corner of the room. His head snapped up. He strained to listen. The whisper came again, closer this time. A cold dread settled in his stomach. His heart pounded in his chest. He was certain now. Someone or something was whispering his name. Ethan pushed back from his desk, knocking his chair over with a loud bang. The sudden noise startled him, but the whispers continued. They were growing louder, more insistent. He scrambled back, pressing himself against the wall. His eyes darted around the room, desperately searching for the source of the whispers. The laptop screen flickered, casting dancing shadows on the walls. One shadow, darker than the others, seemed to writhe and pulsate. It stretched and morphed, taking on a vaguely humanoid shape. Fear, raw and primal, surged through Ethan. The whispers reached a fever pitch, swirling around him like a malevolent wind. The shadow figure lunged from the wall, reaching for him with inky black tendrils. Ethan screamed, scrambling to escape the room. He fumbled for the doorknob, his fingers slick with sweat. The whispers seemed to mock his terror, urging the shadow closer. He wrenched the door open and stumbled into the hallway. He didn't look back. He didn't dare to see if the shadow was following. Ethan ran until he reached the safety of the brightly lit common room. He collapsed onto a couch, gasping for breath. Students glanced at him curiously, but he was too shaken to explain. He never returned to that room. Later, when his friends went to collect his belongings, they found it empty. The laptop lay open on the desk, the screen displaying a single chilling message. "It's your turn now. Your Gap 2S." Ethan's friends stood in stunned silence, the eerie glow of the laptop casting long, trembling shadows on the walls. The words on the screen seemed to pulsate with a life of their own. "It's your turn now, Gap 2S." They exchanged uneasy glances, each of them feeling a creeping dread, as if the message was personally addressing them. They quickly gathered Ethan's belongings, their movements hurried and clumsy, eager to leave the room that now felt like a trap. Gap 2S. That night, as they tried to sleep, the message haunted their dreams. Each of them saw the same vision, a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their beds, whispering the same chilling words, Gap 2S. The next day, one by one, they began to experience strange occurrences. Objects moved on their own, whispers echoed in empty rooms, and the feeling of being watched became unbearable. Gap 2S. Desperation led them to research the history of the laptop, only to discover that it had belonged to a student who mysteriously disappeared years ago. The chilling pattern was clear. The shadow claimed a new victim every few years. Gap 2S. Realizing the gravity of their situation, they knew they had to act fast. They decided to destroy the laptop, hoping to break the cycle and save themselves from the looming darkness. Gap 2S. But as they raised the hammer to smash it, the screen flickered to life one last time, displaying a new message. Too late. Gap 2S. The screen went black and the room plunged into an oppressive silence. They felt a cold breeze sweep through, as if the shadow had finally been set free. The haunting was far from over, it had only just begun. Gap 2S. The story is written and edited by Chanak Yadev.